Whether it's the regular season or the off-season, we have you covered as we give you the best Tennessee Titans and NFL news and insight that a fan could ask for. You're watching the Titan Upload Network.
Watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air on a Tuesday edition, live streaming to you on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on, once again, this special Tuesday edition. Why is the show on a Tuesday, you say? It should have been yesterday. First off, I'll get to that momentarily, but of course, my sincerest apologies. Sometimes things happen in life that kind of just hang up what you had and miss you leave, what you were going to do. So I had a bit of a dental issue I had to deal with over the weekend. And when Monday came, I was able to get it took care of. I'm fine. Don't worry. Everything's okay. I'm here right now. But believe me, I'm much better than I was this weekend. So needed a little bit of recovery time just to bounce back. And I did not want to show up with a fever and just sweating and just looking just disinterested in being here, because that is not my MO. I'm going to give you 110% every show that I bring and every show that I'm a part of. Did not want to do that to you. That's not fair to you. So took a little downtime for me and I feel much better. I'm not at 100%, but I'm running maybe about 75, 80. That's good enough. But I'll tell you who's running at 100%. As always, it's my good friend and co-host, Tyler Staggs. And Tyler, happy Tuesday edition of the show to you.
Happy Tuesday. Little change up, but hey, sometimes it's good to throw that curveball in there. Glad that you're feeling a little bit better, though. Glad you were able to get some rest yesterday. And, hey, life throws you a curveball. Got to do what you got to do, and leads to a special episode this week.
I'll tell you that wasn't a curveball. That was just a straight beanball to the head. Because I'll tell you, a majority of my time was probably just passed out on the couch in Advil-induced coma. As I said, though, just hydration and just trying to get down any kind of just, liquid dietary food that I can get down. It helps. So I've been on a diet of Go-Gurt and mashed potatoes, but it's substantial enough. Maybe I can graduate my way up to eggs tomorrow. I'll give that a try, but I'm moving my way back up to solids. So one day at a time.
There we go.
But as I said, great having you on with this Tuesday edition show. And of course, it's a big show. So we have a guest joining us tonight. Joining us as the newly acquired talent for TriStar Titans is our good friend and now brand new host of the network, Kobe Allen. Kobe, thank you so much for joining us once again on the Power Hour. Okay, I think we got the wrong one. Oh, we got him.
Can you hear me?
We got it. Okay.
What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Just blessed to be here on the show. Thank you guys for bringing me on. It's always a pleasure to get the opportunity to share my voice, share my opinions, and you guys are just one of those sources that gives me that opportunity. I'm just very thankful for that. I'm ready here to have a great show.
And we appreciate you, man, for joining us. And we got a lot to talk about. But before we get into Titan stuff, it's a Tuesday edition show, so some things have kind of rattled through the woodworks, and they're worth talking about because not only we're a Tennessee Titans affiliated show, we're also an NFL show. We like talking NFL topics that happen throughout the week, especially if they can conjuncture a little interest. And Tyler, if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, I think you got to be pretty happy that you've locked down your tight end, Kyle Pitts, with an extension, I believe, of 3 years. Solid move by the organization to have one of their cornerstone offensive players locked in for the future.
It is. It still gives you that, young weapon on the offense to have. And, Pitts may not be your traditional tight end, but he's a weapon. And I was kind of wondering if the Falcons were actually going to extend him or if it was going to be kind of hey, kind of play out this last year, see how you do, because he's kind of had up and down production with them, but I think this is a good move for them. You have Drake London, you have Bijan, Kyle Pitts is just another weapon in that offense, and you want playmakers on offense, and he can be one.
Yeah, I was kind of questioning the same thing, whether they were going to sign him or not. I think them getting Stefanski was a big push maybe for that signing, because over there in Cleveland, he was using Njoku, he was using all those tight ends over there. So I just think it was one of those staples he thought he had to have in this offense was a good pass catching tight end. And I think that they just wanted to get that deal done, and they did. Happy for Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take care of your playmakers. And I mean, while a lot of people see him as a one note playmaker, that's still invaluable for the services that he brings up. Pass catching is just as important as it is blocking. And some guys are just better at doing one or the other. So I'm fine with the extension. I think, especially with Atlanta bringing in that Kevin Stefanski type of offense, it's really going to help just electrify them a little bit and maybe get them over that little hump they've been over for the last few years.
Yeah, I agree. I think it can only be a good thing for them. He's not going to do anything to hurt them. So, I mean, and it gives their young, either Michael Penix or Tua, just that big target to throw to and go to when they're in some trouble or whatever the case is.
So moving on to the college aspect of the game, because of course we're always looking to the future because, that's just part of the gig. But as it seems now, the NFL is not interested in a supplemental draft in 2027, basically telling the probably key prize of what would have been that supplemental draft. Brennan Swarsby from Texas Tech, apparently they're not really looking in his direction. And I mean, Kobe, we maybe kind of saw this coming because, that's a lot of baggage I don't think the NFL wants to handle for one player coming into a situation that is obviously very just heavy with smoke at this point.
Yeah, I think that's probably something he saw coming. I'm sure he had a little bit of hope that he might get that chance as soon as this year or whatever. But in the end, it is what it is, and he's going to have to use this year to his advantage to learn from whether it's NFL guys watching his film, learning what he did wrong, or just whatever. I think he's just going to have to use this time off to his advantage and hopefully get that second chance.
And I mean, Tyler, obviously, it's going to be a year of basically rebuilding his image and trying to get himself in the right path after just this whole debacle he's gone through that's basically not only cost him his collegiate career, but it's also delayed his inevitable NFL career. So, I mean, what lesson can a player take from this moving forward and trying to rebuild their image?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the lesson that they can take from this is, and really, here's going to be the biggest thing. It's going to come down to how he handles the NFL saying we're not doing this supplemental draft, because I would have to go back and find it, but apparently he wasn't exactly too happy that they weren't going to do that, and already having this baggage, teams and the NFL were watching how you're going to react to this, and if you react the wrong way, like, you're not doing yourself any favors. Like, basically at this point, you made your mistakes. You can own up to your mistakes, acknowledge your mistakes, make sure that you work to never make those same mistakes again. But how much are teams actually going to believe you if whenever they give you this news of, hey, you're just going to have to wait until next year, we're not doing this supplemental draft. And it's like, well, I got my lawyer right here. We're coming after you. Like, dude, like, this is going to screw up that second chance even more. Now, if you sit back, accept what they tell you, and just, keep putting in the work. Like, here's the thing. even if he put in the work, he kept working hard, sending tape out, things like that. I don't know that a team would take him in the first round next year, but you still get a chance that in a later round a team might take a flyer on you just to bring you in. But if you handle this situation wrong, teams are going to be like, don't know if it's worth the headache.
And I love the fact that you brought up lawyers because, of course, the NFL has their lawyers too, and they're pretty damn good at what they do. So you can try, you can use the courts to your advantage. That is your American right. But at the same time, their lawyers are pretty damn good. So I wish you the best of luck if that's your endeavor. But as I said, just from these three gentlemen that are coming from just a place of just trying to give you the best advice we could possibly give, take the time and just recuperate, revitalize yourself, revive yourself, and just look to next year. That's just the best option you have right now. Don't tie it up in anything. It's only going to get worse. So that's just our 2 cents. But I'll tell you what isn't a 2-cent operation. The Tennessee Titans spending dollar bills, y'all, because we got some massive topics to talk about tonight. And we're going to start with the first one that everybody's been talking about over the weekend. So, guys, let's not waste any time and jump into the kickoff with our first take of the night.
And here's the kick.
What else were we going to talk about? This is breath of fresh air. It is a sigh of relief. It is anything that you felt that was just going to have you racking your brain the whole off season before training camp started. Relax. It's done. So, Kobe, I'll start with you. Your initial thoughts on Jeffrey Simmons' record-breaking extension for a position that is very vital to the success, I think, of this defense.
I love it. And just shout out to the front office and shout out for Jeffrey Simmons for not causing any drama with this, not threatening any holdouts or anything that we've seen from players around the league in his position, that he knows he is the best defensive tackle in football. I think we as fans that watch him every year know that too, and have known that for a long time, that he deserves this. And I'm just happy that there was no extra stuff that led to him holding out or threatening to want to trade or whatever it was. They knew what they wanted to do and they got it done. And I'm glad that we got him secured for now 5 more years, I believe it is. He added 3 with the extension. So yeah, as a fan and as a fan of Jeff and as a fan of this team, I couldn't be more excited that we got this done now and in a timely manner without any extra drama.
So, Tyler, I mean, one of Mike Borgonzi's biggest discussion points is taking the GM job was to reward the guys long-term that have made substantial success and helped elevated the culture in Tennessee. And right here is the biggest cornerstone for that statement.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons, he is a leader in that locker room, a leader on that defense. And I mean, he puts in the work, and that's obvious to see. Like, you look at his transformation heading into last year, just the shape that he got himself in, and then the season that he had, how hard he worked. And it wasn't just like one metric where, he was the top defensive tackle in the league. Like, no, he went out and was dominating in so many areas as a defensive tackle. And like you said, Bergonzi's whole thing has been rewarding these guys. And, they want to draft and develop. Now, obviously, Bergonzi wasn't here when Jeffrey Simmons was drafted, but Simmons has been here. He's put in the work. Bergonzi has gone back and looked at that work and been like, this is the guy you got to keep around. And when this news broke, I was absolutely ecstatic. I was like, yes, like you said, Kobe, we don't have to worry about any drama. You don't even have to worry about him playing through this year, and then being on the last year of his deal, wondering if things are going to work out. Nope. They got it taken care of. And I mean, well deserved. And even now, you look at the guy, I feel like he's in even better shape this year already than he was last year. Maybe it was just the red shirt, maybe, but he looks, I mean, ready to go. And he was doing all this the last couple of years with, I mean, really not 100% because of that elbow.
Yep.
And now it's cleaned up.
Oh man, sky's the limit.
I mean, it's absolutely terrifying to think what Big Jeff can do at 100% health. And I mean, I'm glad he had the procedure to clean that up because, you know, any kind of ailment like that, it's just enough to just deal with it, not only for just 2 years of your career, but you finally just took some time to actually get that looked at and took care of. So kudos for him to changing his approach on how he trained and basically just his entire diet, because you see the difference within a 2-year period. So Kobe, I'll get to you with this point because I think it's a good point to make. You know, I'll give credit to A to Z Sports for bringing this up because I think it's a good discussion point. You know, people say that Tennessee's afraid to spend money, but now they've done 3 positions within this tenure of resetting the market for player value. They've done it with offensive tackle, they've done it with safety, and now they've done it with defensive tackle. So I don't understand why the narrative they think the Titans are cheap, that they're not going to spend money to bring in or keep good players. I mean, to me, I feel that narrative is just overused and there's not a lot of merit to it, especially with the fact that in the last 4 years, we've seen quite a bit of changes, especially in terms of spending.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've shown, especially Borgonzi has shown that the guys that deserve their money are going to go get their money. And I mean, just going back to free agency with what they went out and signed the top corner in free agency and Cordell Flott, and then signed the probably the top wide receiver in free agency and Wandale Robinson to good money. Yeah, they're value deals, but they got those guys paid. Whereas in the past, it seemed like we've just always been kind of scared to pull that trigger. And I'm glad now we have the GM that notices the work that a player has put in. He notices their value, and he's not afraid to reset the market and show that player his confidence in him. And I just think that helps the front office as a whole. It helps build trust with your players, your whole roster, even coaches. And I just think they've shown that they're going to spend money, and I don't see why they wouldn't. And the next man up is Peter Skoronsky, in my opinion, to get paid for his doing in his time with the Titans so far. And I think he's only going to get better as well. So I think he's the next man up.
So Tyler, I mean, we know markets reset, especially for every position that gets played. And I said that Jeff is the highest paid player so far. Vita Vea is up for a contract negotiation, and he could very well break that market. I mean, would you agree, or do you think that they'll just try and get it maybe about to that mark?
Yeah, I could see them maybe trying to just get it to about that mark because I'm trying to remember how old is Vita Vea now. I
want to say he's around 30.
I would say he's enough to get paid big money for the work that he's put in.
He's 31, so he's a couple years younger than I thought he was. So, you know, I could see the Bucks, you know, when they do his contract extension, getting him around that mark. I don't know that they'll break that mark. I know there's probably some more promising, like younger defensive tackles coming up. I'm just blanking on them right now. That I think they're more likely to be the ones that end up kind of breaking that mark. And, you know, like I said, Vita Vea just getting around it.
And that's fair. I can respect that. I mean, it's always a resetting market, and it's just every contract for the next player up is always going to reflect around or over the current high mark contract that gets put out. And I mean, that's any position, any team in the NFL. So let's get to the heart of the matter. With this extension, what would you like to see for Jeffrey Simmons going forward within that 5-year window before 2030? And Kobe, I'll start with you and we'll finish with Tyler.
I would like to see a defensive player of the year type of season from him as soon as this year. I think just with the people around him now that give him he's going to get some one-on-one matchups. I think he's got to win every single one. I think he's going to get 10 plus sacks again this year from the inside of the defensive line. And I think he's going to keep that. I mean, last year, the year he had last year was, it was damn good for a defensive tackle. And I mean, if you give me that every single year for the next 5 years, I'm all in for it. I think we got our money's worth because, especially with the guys we have around him now, I just think he's going to the one-on-ones are the biggest thing for me that he's going to get now with John Franklin Myers lined up right next to him. I mean, he's gonna be in the defensive player of the year conversation this year. I think he probably records the most sacks this year just based on the matchups alone that he's gonna get. Because you got to pay attention to Jermaine Johnson on the outside too. You got to pay attention to whoever it is we line up. Maybe it's Falk on the other side. I mean, we got some really good pieces around him, and I think if he just gives you the impact that he gave us last season consistently every year with minimal penalties, minimal errors, I think we got our money's worth in this signing right here.
Yeah, and then to just keep adding to that, that's something that I think I would like to see happen in the next 5 years is Simmons win a Defensive Player of the Year. And not to mention another change for him this year is we're not going to be asking him to be out there first through third down all the time.
Right.
Like, Saleh is going to be rotating these guys in and out. Now, he has basically said, like, it's not like Jeffrey Simmons is only going to play like half of the snaps. Like, Jeff is going to be out there, but he's also going to be more fresh. And he's going to be more fresh on passing downs. And, I mean, that's the scary part about it. You look back at his dominance last year and how much he played, and he was still that dominant. You get him in more pass down situations where he's able to pin his ears back and have those one-on-one matchups. I think you can easily be talking about another double-digit sack season. But just that would, and Kobe mentioned this, that consistency, if we can have that throughout these next 5 years, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think consistency is the biggest thing, especially for the young pieces we have in the back end now with Fly and you got Kevin Winston Jr. back there. I think it's only going to help everybody. It's going to make the DB's jobs easier. And I just think he's going to be impactful for a long time, especially with how he's keeping his body in shape, getting in better shape. I trust Simmons, and I know the front office does now. And as a fan, I can't wait to watch it.
So to anybody that went out and got a Jeffrey Simmons jersey, breathe a sigh of relief. You don't have to use that insurance. I promise you're good for the next 5 years.
Yes, indeed.
Well, all right, guys, with that, we'll take our first break. And when we come back, we'll talk about our training camp predictions for 2026, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between.
watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air. Live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Tuesday edition of the show. It has been a phenomenal show. We have got so much more to talk about, but of course, special thanks to Kobe Allen of Tri-State Titans. I apologize for joining us on the show. Kobe, I know you got a lot of things going on. Maybe you can give us a little sneak peek of what's going on with you and your newly acquired position.
Really just trying to make as much content as possible, positive content for the fans to enjoy, kind of get them hyped for the season, and just be that source of positivity for really everybody in the football community around the NFL on my personal page, and then on the TriStar page, the Titans fans, just trying to interact with everybody. So yeah, just trying to grow that page as much as possible, trying to be one of those sources of video content, highlight content, just whatever it is, just to give fans kind of some hype going into the season, kind of build off the hype that started with the rebrand and the signings, and just keep it going so we have that positive energy entering week one.
TriStar got a good one, and I promise you he's going to put out some great content. Check them out, and they're going to keep posting on all their social media platforms wherever you can find them. And also, guys, remember, if you love the show, help it grow. Follow us on all our social media platforms at the Titan Upload Network and at the Power Hour 615, wherever you view any of our content on all your favorite social media platforms. Well, all right. We're into segment 2, and as I said, training camp is a mere month away, and it's going to go by just like that. And I promise you, it's going to be even intriguing before we get there. But before we get there, let's stir the pot a little bit. Let's come up with some ideas that might potentially be interesting before training camp starts and how we might think it'll play out. So, Kobe, with you being our guest first, let's give you the floor first, right after this. So, as I said, Kobe, 3 predictions through training camp. I give you the floor.
At first, I want to start out with Carnell Tate. I think he solidifies himself as the wide receiver 1 on this roster. I think you drafted him with the 4th overall pick. I don't think you do that going into the year with him anything but a wide receiver 1 on this team. I think he's going to get the targets in camp. I think he's going to just keep showing out like he has been. But that's my first one. I think I've just been seeing some stuff around on Twitter and whatever, just that people don't think he's the wide receiver 1, blah, blah, blah. I just want to, so that's why this is my first take. I think he's going to solidify that spot, and I think he's going to do a damn good job at that spot. He's come in and he even seems like a leader. Like he brings a lot of positive energy. So I like that coming from him as a rookie. He's not like in a shell. He's not scared to be himself. He's going out there. He's making plays, and I think he's going to keep doing that through training camp. My next one is Anthony.
Let's let that one breathe real quick, because I feel like that's definitely worth touching on. So, Tyler, let's get your thoughts on that. And I definitely got to ask, are you okay? A little indigestion?
Food that I had before here, not agreeing with me too much. Little indigestion.
Okay, well, this would be a good plug for Rolaids or Tums if somebody wanted to sponsor the show. Throwing that out there, guys. Just whatever's going to make his stomach feel better. But go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because Kobe, that one, it was like you took the words out of my mouth, because that was one of my predictions as well. Was which, granted, through OTAs and mandatory minicamp, our top corners weren't out there for all of it. So we got to see Carnell Tate basically going up against some guys that are a little bit lower on the depth chart, and really, for the most part, just having his way with them. But I think that Carnell Tate is going to just roll that over I I mean, I really see him and Cam still getting together throughout this dead period, working on their time and working on all that. And I think by the time training camp rolls around, we see uh, Carnell Tate still having this same type of impact, whether it's against Alante Taylor or Cordell Flott. Like going against these guys, he's still making these plays. He's going up, making these catches over them, finding ways to get open. And I think he's just going to continue rolling that over. And like you said, work his way up, show him why, like, hey, this is why they took me number 4 overall.
Yep.
Yeah, that's no accident what you're seeing. That's the real Carnell Tate. And I think we're just seeing just little snippets of just what he does every day and what he had been doing every day at Ohio State. I genuinely feel the Jeremiah Smith process was why we overshadowed him.
Oh, yeah.
And look, I know we haven't even watched him play a regular season game. We're a long ways from that. But the whole thing is, it's good to build interest. It's especially good when that interest continues to back itself up every day.
Yes.
And that's just what Titans media has been desperate for. Positivity, creativity, and especially young talent thriving at an early stage of this process, because that's what's going to keep interest right even before training camp starts. I mean, let's be honest. I want to see him walk around the new stadium. Titans have already dropped a video on that and given us a snippet, but they're not going to give us the whole thing. No. They're just a snack. So, well played. So go ahead, Kobe, with pick number 2.
Number 2 is Anthony Hill Jr. solidifies himself as the starter next to Cedric Gray. I think he earns a spot over Cody Barton. He was just one of my favorite backers in the draft. I think we got him at a very good spot in the second round. And I don't know. It's just this is more of a gut thing, more than anything. I like the prospect that he was, and I think he's ready to play right now. And I think he's got the work ethic to go out there and show it. He's the solid type of linebacker that knows for the football. He's going to go get you some sacks. He's going to do everything. And I just think in the end, he's going to bring more to the table for that defense than Cody Barton will. Not to say Cody's not a good player. He's solid. He did some good things for us last year. But I just really like Anthony Hill Jr. and I think he's gonna be hard to leave off the field, in my opinion.
All right, Michael, I got to ask a question. Did you share my notes before this show?
Tyler, I think he might have swiped the notes because he keeps taking from us, and I'm just sitting there like, damn it, he took mine too. I don't know what we're going to do now. We're going to have to pick different ones moving forward. But that's just 3 great minds thinking alike. I mean, I guess it was obvious to happen, but it is what it is. I'm not mad. I'm not. I'm disappointed in myself, but I'm not mad.
Yeah, I'm like, man,
You're more nice about it. I'm like, damn it, he took mine.
Good. That was another one that I had on my. I was like, and like you said, it's nothing against Cody Barton, but there were times last year where when you watch Cody Barton, it was like he was running in sand at times.
Yeah.
And you just don't have that speed, but mentally he has the game figured out. Like we saw him several times making sure he was in the right place, right where he needed to be. But I think Anthony Hill Jr., he's that younger guy. He's going to have more speed, and I think he is going to continue to dive into the playbook, understanding more of where he needs to be, making sure he's in the right place, and make plays. And whether that be blowing up runs in the backfield, blowing up screens, in coverage, whatever it may be, I just think in training camp, he is going to solidify himself next to Cedric Gray. as the top two guys for the linebackers.
And here's the thing, Cody Barton has value. I don't see him cutting him loose, especially if they decide to go with Hill. I just don't see that. There's value within his position. I mean, let's not forget Cody Barton had a pick six against the Chargers.
Yeah, that was nice.
So he can make plays. I'm not worried about his playmaking ability. I do think him being in this type of defense, it'll open up more possibilities for him to play. I just think with Hill, I think the athleticism, I think his just attack to the ball are just two key components that is what Saleh desperately wants from his linebacking core. You almost want them to play like just undersized safeties. So I feel that that's what Robert Saleh is looking for to fit that gap. But Cody Barton will have a role with this team. I think with the playmaking ability with both players, Hill just barely edges him. But Cody Barton's a great rotational piece.
Yes, he's definitely not worthless. He provides you veteran presence back in the middle of the defense. He's the biggest thing for me is the speed, like, and especially in today's NFL, like those backs are fast. Even the big backs, Derrick Henry, he's fast. And if you can't catch them before they break the line of scrimmage, it's tough to recover from that as a defense. And I just think Hill has the speed to get to the line and meet the backer at the line. I think he's got the nose for the football and the fearlessness to go and stuff the hole. And I think he's going to be a big duo. Him and Cedric Gray, I think they're going to be one of the best young linebacker duos in football. I already think Cedric Gray proved himself last year with 164 tackles, I think. And I just think they're going to feed off each other's energy and just knows for where to be. And I just think they're going to be one of those duos that you're going to want to be watching on Sundays.
Yeah, and to hit on Cody Barton a little bit more, like you said, Michael, I think he can be a rotational piece in that linebacker room. I mean, you want that veteran presence and a guy that has in his mind, like, again, it's not his mind that I'm worried about and him knowing where he needs to be and all of that. It just comes back to the speed. And also it's good to have him, heaven forbid Gray or Hill were to have to deal with an injury at some point. Like, yes, you have James Williams, who, he was able to get some time last year as well and play, but still having that veteran guy that you can bring in case of injury, like, that's not a bad thing.
Absolutely not. And with that, Kobe, give us your final training camp prediction.
My final is Ty Montgomery earns himself a spot on this roster. And I think he edges out a guy like Xavier Restrepo. I think Restrepo is, yes, he is best friends with Cam, good slot receiver. But I just think Montgomery gives you so much more as a football player, as somebody who can go and be your gunner on special teams, somebody who, when the receivers are tired, he can go down and he can catch a deep ball on third down or whatever it is. That's what I've seen reports on, is his athleticism. And I think athleticism, especially for those lower spots on the depth chart, those guys that are going to be there on punt and on kickoff, he's going to get down the field. I think he's got the speed over Restrepo. I think he's got the ability to go get the ball. Yes, Restrepo has the more of the receiver aspect down more a little bit than Montgomery, just because the experience is hard to beat, especially at the receiver spot with route running. But Montgomery is he played what 3 years in 2 or 3 years in college at the D3 level. I think if he's on a D1 roster, he gets drafted in this past draft. He's just that type of athlete. And I think with experience, and I think as he's watching his peers work, I think he's just going to get better. And I just think he gives more upside than the guys that are also fighting for the spot, like maybe Oliver Restrepo, But that's my last prediction is I really think that Ty Montgomery earns a spot on the depth chart and he makes an impact during camp. And I think he makes some plays with the second team, third team, whatever. And I just think he's another one of those athletes that you're not going to want to keep off the field if you don't have to. No, he's not going to start or anything like that, but he can go in there and get you a play that you're like, oh my gosh, how did he catch that ball? And I just think he brings more of an aspect to, yes, he can come in and play receiver, but I think where he's going to earn his money is on special teams, whether that's in the return game or as a gunner or whatever it is, just with his hunger for football. He's hungry to do this thing for his mom. It was his mom's dream for him from just the story we know about him. And I think he's hungry to go out there and get it. And I think he's going to get it by any means necessary. And I think special teams is that ticket in for him as a gunner or as maybe even a returner in some sort, whatever it is. But I think he just provides more as a football player than those other guys that are just purely receivers.
Tyler, I'll let you take this, and then I'll follow up with mine.
All right. I'm just happy he didn't take my last one. I was getting real worried there for a minute. Like, if he takes my last one here, I may just have to back out of the show right now because I'm not talking about anything else.
Well, I mean, if anything, that's just keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, that's right. No, I do. I like that prediction because I think really like that last, it all comes down to how many receivers the Titans end up keeping. But those last one or two spots, man, they are up in the air because essentially we know, obviously Carnell Tate, he's making it. Wan'Dale Robinson's making it. Depending on if I still think that Calvin Ridley is with the team at the start of the year, at least at the start. Maybe as they get on through the year, something ends up happening. But I think he's with them at the start, so he's there. Then you have Ellick and Chim. Those five guys are locks at receiver. Like they're going to be on the team. So then it comes down to that sixth spot and potentially a seventh spot. And I think Montgomery he's a guy that can make a name for himself. He's going to have those flashy plays, but it also comes down to, like you mentioned, who's going to help out on special teams, because that's where, especially those last couple of guys, that's where they make their impact and how they end up getting on the team. And Michael, you want me to go ahead and give my final prediction as well, or just hit on this?
We'll sit to yours. We'll sit for the last 4 years.
All right. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with Ty Montgomery.
I mean, the Ty Montgomery story is phenomenal, and everybody loves the underdog. Everybody loves rooting for the underdog. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat out Restrepo. I mean, he led in receptions with the OTA situation going on, and the only one that was under him at a close second was Chimere Dike. So I think Brian Dable's going to really think long and hard about potentially getting Restrepo added into this offense, potentially with the preseason. But Montgomery's got a chance to make it with special teams. Like, that's any players in any kind of situation. If they know they're not going to be a lock for one of the top positions, special teams is a door to a potential buildup. I mean, Bones needs guys that are speedy and are aggressive and will get downfield and cover. So I don't think it's crazy to think that he would make the 53. I will say though, it's definitely going to be as a special teamer or maybe a gunner.
Yes, for sure.
I don't see him being as one of the potential wide receiver guys. I still think he's maybe a year away from that. That's a project move, but still solid predictions. So we'll go ahead and go through the pick through ones that we've already selected, even though Tyler's sitting on one, but it's still a good one. I forgot I had a title card. So anyway, I feel that the biggest thing for me is this O-line is going to get synced up fairly quick. The offensive line coach, I feel, has just had a great job of building up players in two different teams, and they've had success. So I think they've got the core right now, and eventually they're going to build on that in the future. But what they have, I think, will potentially get synced up by the second preseason game. I don't think it's going to be without mistakes. I don't think it's going to be without still trying to nitpick little things. But I feel like this offensive line is probably going to be the best we've seen in maybe the last 3 years.
I agree. I'm just worried about the right guard spot. I don't know if you guys know who has been playing there. Do you
Slater.
guys know? Who is it?
Slater.
Oh, okay, Slater. Yeah, I agree. I like Slater. I think Fernando Carmona is a very interesting piece to this line too. They selected him for a reason. So I'd like to see what role he plays. It's probably going to be one of those backup spots, but it's interesting to see if he maybe beats out somebody for a or one the right Slater for the guard spot. I know he played on the left side, but I don't know what they're exactly doing in practice. But yeah, I agree with the O line situation for sure. I love our core three of Moore, Score, and Latham. I think Latham is going to have a huge breakout season, better than he has. He's another year removed from having to play left tackle his rookie year. He's in his natural position that he played in college. I think he's only going to get better. But yeah, I really like this O line. It's talked about in a very low way on social media, just because it's social media. They're always going to talk about us in a low way, but it's this line is young, and I think the core has been here long enough to know how it is and know what they need to do to get the other two guys on deck. But yeah, I like that point about the O line. I think they're going to be very improved and like you said, one of the best we've seen in the past 3 years.
Yeah, I think they have that potential to be, the best we've had in the last 3 years. One change that I would probably go with, I think it maybe takes like to that third preseason game or maybe even the first game of the season before they're completely synced up. But I still think that they are going to get in sync. It's not going to be like halfway through the year.
Yes,
before we see them synced up. I think it's going to be close to the start of the year.
Tyler's going to jump me 1 or 2 games. Ooh, edgy. But moving on to my next one, I'll have to speed run through these real quick. Just want to make sure we hit our time mark. Safety depth. I love the guys that we have, especially Fitzgerald. Or Bishop Fitzgerald's one of my favorite players that we added on as an undrafted free agent, but he's a project, and the Titans safety room needs more depth. So I potentially see them maybe addressing it through a free agent signing after cut day, or maybe even through a trade if it's available. So I think that's one issue that gets addressed. So keep your eye on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I think I think our front or our main guys are very good, but our depth is definitely a question for if one of those guys go down or whatever the case is. But yeah, I like that point as well.
Yeah, I'm on board with that point.
And of course, mine last one, simple. I think Alec and Shim have solid camps together. I think they elevate themselves. I love the fact that Alec got in the weight room and put on some muscle. Like he's going to go out there and punish some people. People are sleeping on Alec.
I love this point. If you know me, I love Alec Manor. He's probably my favorite player on this team. I think he has a great year too, building off what he did last year, and I think it'll start in training camp.
Yeah, I think they got thrown to the fire last year. They made some mistakes as rookies do, but I think they build off of that and really improve this year even more.
I mean, I'll go even a step further. And the player that he reminds me the most of is Marquise Colston.
You're talking about Alec, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I like that. He's gonna be. I just think he overperformed a lot of our expectations last year. I mean, he was fourth round pick. He came in and he ended up having to be pretty much the number one target for Cam. He was there on every crucial third down that we needed. Alec was that guy that Cam was looking for, and he trusted him. And I think that is the biggest thing to me is that if your quarterback's trusting you on the biggest downs of the game, and I mean the chemistry is there. And also he caught Cam Ward's first touchdown. So I think we're going to see a lot more of those touchdowns this year.
Not to mention the fact he led the wide receiver room in receiving yards and touchdowns, I believe.
Yep.
All right, Tyler, we set on your one. I know they all got stolen, but here's your one shining moment.
I have my one. No, I think, and I want to preface this, and I've sent Michael. It's a little bit longer short, but it's still considered a short on YouTube because it's under 3 minutes. Damn it! So just go check it out.
It's a slong.
Yeah,
it's a slong.
But I did a video talking about Xavier Restrepo, and Michael mentioned this earlier. Like he led the team in receptions throughout OTAs, minicamp, and it's not like he was just doing it with like the third team. No, he was catching passes from Cam. He was catching passes from Trubisky, from Will Levis. He was doing it with every team, with all three quarterbacks. He was out there making plays, acting like Odell with the one-handed catch in a scrimmage against the defense to get the offense down in the red zone. Now, just because I think he continues to build off of that, I think he's still going to have a solid camp. I could see him being a guy that is up there for, if he's not leading the team in receptions, he's probably going to be top 3. I don't know that that's enough to get him on the final 53-man roster at the start of the season, but I think he is going to make it very tough when it comes to those final couple of receiver like spots on who they keep. Last year I went out on a limb, and last year I predicted him to make the final 53. Not doing that this year, but according to reports, he showed up trimmer this year. He looks quicker. And I mean, I've seen it in the videos we've seen of him. I'm like, man, he's moving a little bit more this year. And I think he's going to continue to make those plays and, like I said, make it hard when it comes down to those last couple of spots to say, all right, we've got this handful of 3-4 guys. Who are we keeping?
Yeah. And I think it's such a good thing that we have that much depth at the receiver spot that we are really having to dig deep on these final spots. And I think they all have the ability to earn it. It's just a matter of who goes out there and earns it. And Restrepo, I mean, he's the all-time leading receptions at one of the most historic colleges of all time in Miami. And he did that. A lot of those receptions were with, not all of them because Cam was only there for a year, but a good amount of them were from Cam Ward. So I mean, that is not going to go unnoticed, and they know they have that chemistry. He was brought to Tennessee for a reason. It's really just a matter of if he goes out there and earns it. And I think, I mean, all of them have a very good chance of going out there and getting it. It's just a matter of who's going to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I genuinely want to see what he can bring to the table in 2026. It excites me that he's getting these opportunities and he's making the most of them. That's going to make it intriguing. And Xavier Estrepo is definitely still a player that people have a big affection for, that they want to see if he can make it and bring something to the table. And, it's hard not to root for him. So great predictions. And I think it's going to be an interesting camp when 2026 rolls around. It's definitely not going to be short of stories. Let's just hope they're not injury stories for our sake. We don't need any negative vibes going through. So, regardless, I still feel this is going to be a great camp. Only a month away. Well, not even a month away. We're like merely 28, 27 days away. So it's ticking by. All right, guys, we'll take our final break, and when we come back, we love you, we mean it, but we got to kick you out into the street because the NBA draft's on, and I guess some of you are watching it. Shame on you. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. But we'll get closing time rolling right after this.
You're watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
Wow, the Power Hour is on the air. Watch your video on YouTube, Facebook, and I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Tuesday edition of the show. Well, guys, you showed up, you showed out for us. As always, we love you, we appreciate it. Round of applause to you for everything you do. And of course, a special thanks to Kobe Allen of TriStar Titans. They're growing and they're going to continue to grow because this man makes excellent content. Kobe, let them know where to find that great content at.
Find it on X at TriStar Titans, _Titans. I also make content on my Instagram, Champagne Kobe, and all of the funnels into the TriStar. The Titans content goes on to that page. And then my football, just NFL general content will be on my personal pages. But yes, just trying to build TriStar Titans as much as possible with some positive, energetic energy to kind of carry over to the season and just ready for a good year, get the fans ready for a good year. But yeah, just follow us over at _Titans on X, and that's where you'll get all of the great positive content about our Tennessee Titans.
This man's about to have a glow up this summer. I feel it. So we're definitely rooting for you, man. We know you put out great content.
I appreciate
Go
it.
check it out. And of course, guys, sharing is caring. Make sure you share the show out to any Tennessee Titans or NFL fans watching the show on whatever social media platform they're enjoying at the Titan Upload Network or at the Power Hour 615. All right, guys, we love you. We mean it. But it's time to kick you out. Hit my damn theme music.
Closing time. Good night, losers.
So, yeah, we did slightly mention that there's a possibility of Peter Skoronski being the next in line for an extension. But I want everybody to have their take. Would you do it this year? Or since you put a 5-year extension on him, would you wait till next year? Just kick the bucket down the road. So, Kobe, you being the guest, I'll give you first crack.
I'd honestly like them to just go ahead and get this done as soon as possible this year. Just get him locked in. Just get that weight off his shoulders. I know they probably know what they're gonna do. Maybe they don't, but just me, if I was a player, I would just want to get it done. Want the team to know I'm here. I'm in it. I'm in it for this team. I'm not looking elsewhere. I got my money. I'm here to give it my all. And I just think what they did for Jeff, I know he's been here longer, obviously, but I mean, this guy is a pillar on your offensive line. He's one of those guys that are going to be remembered in Nashville, if not the whole league, when their career is over. He's just that good. You want to get him locked down. But yeah, I'd rather get it done sooner rather than later.
Tyler?
So, kind of like with the Big Jeff situation, let's not let it get to the drama stage where people start worrying like, yes, you pick up his 5th-year option. Great, that's fine. Let's not wait until that point. Let's go ahead and get it done. He's your best offensive lineman. Hands down. There's no debating that right now. The level that he was playing at last year, and even you go back to like his first year. His first year, start of the year wasn't that great, but he was also like he had his appendix taken out. He had lost a lot of weight. He was having to put it back on, having to balance a lot of things. But since then, when being healthy, like the dude has stepped up and played great for the team. So why drag it out? Why wait? Go ahead, lock up your best offensive lineman, get that extension done. And not to mention, you get it done now, just going off the last couple of years, salary cap's going up. So you get it done now, probably at a better deal than if you wait until next year.
So here's where I'm going to divert. And I'm doing this because I'm looking at the 2027 free agent list. And I'm going to give you the top 3. All right. From 3 to 1, it's Cordell Volson, Jermaine Johnson, and Tony Pollard. Now, out of those 3, Jermaine Johnson seems the one for an extension. If he has a great year this year, I expect it. I definitely feel like it's a situation that could potentially kick down the road, especially waiting on how the market will develop. And I'm not an expert on how they'll do this, just like Kobe brought up. They're going to do it strictly by the plan that they formulated and do it within that time frame. If they do it this year, that's great. That's one thing out of the way. But I feel like, especially when you're going in 2027, you're potentially going after like a lot of guys that are going to be on 1-year contracts this year that you're going to re-up with. You do have 2 running backs that are going to be off the market with Tony Pollard and, of course, Tajay Spears. Of course, you might move on from them entirely. So it's not like I don't think they'll have a shortage of money. I think you just have to guide the market precisely how you think it's going to work to your advantage. So if they do it this year, that's fine. But if it was me, I'd wait till the end of the season and just get it done even before the draft comes up. I'd potentially get it done. Well, you probably would get it done before the draft. That's stupid of me saying, but I would probably get that done like maybe the first week of February. Like that's what I'd be working on.
Yeah, I don't think I necessarily hate it either way. I think Score's the kind of guy that he's going to trust whatever the front office does. And I think if that's the route they go, he's going to trust they're going to give him that money, and he believes in himself. He's been healthy. We're not concerned in that department. So yeah, I think either way, he's going to handle it like a pro, and I think he's going to be a Titan for a long time.
Tyler, you're thinking about it.
Yeah, you brought up some good points there, and again, as long as the extension gets done, I don't really care when it is. I would still rather it be them go ahead and get it done now, because you brought up those guys that are on like the 1-year deals that would be free agents next year. So just in my head, I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and get this done now. you don't have to give him all the money like in the first year, but get it done now. That way, come free agency and everything, you can just focus on those guys if you want to extend them. But either way, as long as it gets done, I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that matters. I mean, it's about the right time. It's about the consistency of when you get the deal out. And of course, it's just, I look at 2027, and if they want to wait on it, it's not a bad time. Because, as I said, I think the biggest guy you're probably going to try and retain is maybe Jermaine Johnson. I think Tony Pollard leaves in free agency. I think maybe Tajay Spears leaves in free agency. And that's fine. I mean, they've earned the right to go and find another situation if they feel that's what's best for them. I also feel it's just all about how you gauge the market. And it's always about the right time and when things are quiet. That's usually when these things go down, when we're not expecting them. So, I mean, most of us didn't even think a Jeffrey Simmons deal was going to get done in this time frame, but yet it happened. And the relief is definitely just easy to just take in. So regardless of however it plays out, the Tennessee Titans definitely have a slew of options. I don't think they have to move on it quickly, but I don't think they have to wait on it either. So regardless, it's going to be a good situation. But I'll tell you what was a great situation, you joining us for watching the Power Hour, and we thank you once again for joining us on tonight's show. One more time, round of applause for you, for everything that you've done for us. Show. And a special thanks to Kobe Allen of TriStar Titans for joining us on the show with his newly acquired position. He's going to do a phenomenal job of putting content out. Kobe, give one more shout out to the fans and tell them where to find all your great content at.
Appreciate you guys first for having me on. It's always a pleasure here anytime you guys want to chat about football, the Titans, whatever it is. Find me and my content on the TriStar Titans Twitter, _star on X, I should say. I still call it Twitter. X, that is where all the Titans content is going to be. So just go there, follow, like, retweet, support. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you guys again for having me on. So yeah, I hope you guys have a blessed night.
And we appreciate you for being on, man. We wish you the best with your new project going forward. And we know that you're going to do a fantastic job with that affiliate because we've seen your content and you do a phenomenal job.
I appreciate it.
So Tyler, final thought before we get out of here.
Yeah, final thought. No matter if it's Monday night, Tuesday night, or hell, it could be any other night of the week. We're going to bring you the best show out there. So make sure, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a show. Simple as that.
I couldn't have said it better than myself. And of course, we will be back next Monday to have another great show for you. And might have a bit of news for you. We'll see what happens. I got something in the pot that's cooking, but I don't want to say anything until it's cooked. So keep your lid on and we'll break that announcement when it's appropriate to break it. So once again, special thanks to Kobe Allen of TriStar Titans for joining us. And of course, for Tyler Staggs, I'm Michael Bishop of the Power Hour. And as always, take care and tighten up.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.
You're watching the Titan Upload Network.